would probably want to push Iowa on top of the ecosystem as India makes new products.
So today we have with us Mr. Abhinav Gupta from Breathr, and I would request you to please introduce yourself and about your company.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me here. As you mentioned, my name is Abhinav, and I've been in the air quality space for the last 12 years. I would say that I've spent almost one third of my life doing work in air quality. And I've first started doing air quality work in air quality monitoring,
Okay.
where we used to monitor the air quality everywhere. And today with Breather, what we are doing is we are trying to solve the problem for air quality. And not just air quality, but in a way more futuristic way, where we see that in the future we are going to have a device that combines everything for your air in a single device.
Right.
And that is the idea, the core idea behind Breather, that we've not touched this thing. We spend 15,000 liters of our air we breathe every day, but we don't have one single device that does everything for your air. So it's high time we change that, and that's the idea behind Breather.
Right. So, you clearly explained the vision behind your,
Yes.
Breather. And so, what led you to invest or, reach out to a design company like
Yeah.
Iuova?
Yeah.
And what led you to, trust us for your design?
Absolutely. So, I mean, see, as I said, like I've built hardware for almost 11, 12 years. And the one thing that I always felt missing in the industry was a rapid prototyping to the extent that for a final product, there's a lot of like amateur rapid prototyping where someone's using a 3D printer and making something. But that's not really rapid prototyping when you want to make a consumer product in India. So my first version of Breather when we started was for not for consumers, it was for businesses.
Right.
And was built in metal. But eventually we decided that we want to make a world-class product, and the world-class product has to be a consumer product. So, we had some concepts, but to realize concept into an engineering problem is something that we were looking for. I mean, I'm a professional in electronics. I can work with consumer electronics. I can make consumer electronics. But to make the shell and to do the engineering for something like that, and to do it fast, to do it high quality, and do it reliably is what we were looking for. And my colleague Ninal, he recommended that this is and he's worked a lot with these kind of consumer products. He came to me and he said, I think this will do the job that we want. And I think we had the first conversation, and I looked at all the stuff that I was already done, and I felt that okay, these guys, they know what they're doing. So let's experiment. So that was the call that I took, and that's how we got in touch with Iuova.
Right. So, what were your key expectations from a design firm like Iuova while designing a product like the air conditioner?
Yeah, I think the one thing that I told Vatsal very clearly was that the finish has to be great. It has to look like a premium luxury product, because that's what we are building. We're building it for the world. We're building it for the US audience, and they demand a certain kind of finish to the product. It can't look like a prototype.
Right.
It needs to look like a finished product, and I think that was number one on all sides. On the engineering side, I think the actual product engineering side, we had done a lot of stuff, so we weren't that worried about it. Same with the electronics. But the one thing that we truly wanted from this place where we were working with Iuova, and so the one thing that we truly wanted from the Iuova team was the finish and how reliable it is. Like, can I ship it to the US? And has to be as close to the final product as possible. So those are the key expectations, and I think the other last part I think I would like to add is that because it's the US market, it was also supposed to be DIY. Right? You can install it yourself.
Right.
And I think, we did a good job. I think some of the elements in the product were indeed DIY and can be installed by anyone. So, yeah.
Right. So your product, as you said, it's primarily for the US market.
Yes.
So, what kind of characteristic characteristics does a product from the US market need to have? And like there are certain benchmarks, or like these things are supposed to be there in that product kind of thing.
I mean, you can think about it. See, US is the land which made iPhone.
Yeah.
And the first electric car that actually became an aspirational product, Tesla.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is the key part.
Mm-hmm.
I think the first thing that the product really needs to be is to be aspirational.
Mm.
And that is the thing that a product, the US culture sells. So when we make a product for the US culture, it has to be aspirational. You have to look at it and be like, wow, I need to have this product in my house. I think that is the key thing. Obviously, I mean, I think the core engineering, as I mentioned again, and I keep talking about it, that the core engineering, the core value we've already built. But now it needs to be presented in a way that is aspirational. I think that is number one, that we think about the audience. The other thing that is actually very critical is that unlike India, US is a very DIY market. Mm. People will go to a Costco, will buy a product, and will install it on their own. There is no installation guy that comes. And the Indian culture is a bit different than that. Everything has an installation guy. Right. Even a TV, which used to just plug it in, you need an installation guy. But in the US, even a complicated product is to be done in a way where someone is actually making every bit of effort to install it by looking at a video. So, but the product in itself has to be doable in a DIY fashion. So those are the two key things. I think rest everything as a consumer product has to be well packaged, well everything. But these two things stand out for the US market.
Right. So, like I would like to talk about the design process a bit. So I'm sure you must have seen the kind of concepts we presented.
Yeah.
So there was, we also gave you like timely details about the project, progress kitna hua hai and everything. So like, what did you like most about the Iuova's design process, or what was the one thing that clearly stood out in your perspective?
Clearly stood out would be one thing. I told Vatsal I wanted done by 15th May. We were done by 15th. I think that is no bigger a promise in India than to do things on time when they've been said that they will be done by a certain date. I think that was the pretty much the big thing. The second part was that I think, which obviously I think when we choose a firm, and that's good for us also. When we choose a firm, we always choose a firm that's reliable. So reliability was also obviously a good thing. I mean, the design process in itself, because I had a very capable colleague at my end was dealing with that. I just let it be. And what I know was that I think we started out the process in the start of April. And I told them that, okay, this should be done, and by 15th of May. And I think 12th or 13th of May, I was in office, and I think one of your colleagues had come over, and he just like showed her, and that's it. Like for me, the jump was directly to there.
Right.
So from my perspective, being reliable and being on time were the two things I was looking in the first week of April, and that's what got delivered to me.
Right.
So that those things stand out for me very, very, very clearly.
Right.
Rest, I think Ninad will elaborate
he
more.
will elaborate more.
Yeah.
So, like you mentioned that you went into the office and you saw one of our colleagues carrying the prototype. So, when you saw the prototype, what was your reaction, or what did you think about the prototype? Was it up to your expectations?
I want all the other 6 right now. that is my first reaction was I want all 6 right now. Okay, so I mean, see, there were obviously certain things that had to be fixed. But I think overall, and when I say fixed, let me rephrase that. So when we saw the first prototype, when we saw that, and our first reaction was, okay, wow, okay, this is great. And we fit in our own electronics because electronics were at our end. And we quickly communicated what the next step would be. But irrespective of that, I think the first prototype, once assembled, was brilliant enough for us to go out and show to all our investors and all our early adopters, say that this is ready. Even though we know that prototype, we know that was going to be the first one. and it was going to be in our office for a while. But if we want, we could actually package it and then, in fact, actually even sell it. But we won't, because obviously we want to make some improvements in it. So that was our reaction.
Nice. So, like one final question.
Sure.
Do you think the final prototype reflects the vision you had for this particular product when you had started the project? So, how well did it reflect your initial vision, and like what were your overall thoughts?
Yeah, fair enough. So, okay. So, very interesting question. Let's put it this way: if a founder is happy with the first prototype already with the vision, then probably the vision is not big enough. Having said that, I think what is important to identify is that vision is a very long process. It's a 5-year process, 5-6 year process. It's like a whole thing. But what is important when you think of the first step towards the vision is that in how many areas did you make the first step?
Right.
Like when you want to make an iPad and you want to make an iTouch before it. How many things have you touched upon? There's a touch screen, there's a new interface, there's an app ecosystem. So the vision is long, it has a lot of things in it. So the key thing to know, and the key thing why I'm very happy with the outcome, is that when we took the first step, we internally had certain benchmarks that, okay, out of 10 things in the vision, if we are able to hit 5 things, I think we're good. But I think we were able to hit 8 or 9 things out of the 10 things, at least the first step. Of course, things will improve drastically on all fronts.
Right.
But having to make that first step in each of those directions was very important. And I think we did that. So vision to chalte rahega. I think it's a long drawn process. But I think the first step towards the vision on all directions, almost all, as I said, 8 out of 10, we were able to take with the first prototype itself, which is a very, 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 very big thing for a founder.
Right. So thank you so much. Like, would you like this last question? Like, would you like to collaborate with us again, and would you recommend us to other people?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've spoken to Vatsal a lot about it. I think it's important for the ecosystem to not just with founders. I think I would also recommend like the people who made our first cut design, branding folks. There are a lot of people who make concepts, but then concepts to reality is a very big bridge. So I think the ecosystem in India is evolving. So we would probably want to push Iuova on the top of the ecosystem as India makes new products. So for sure, we would recommend to a lot more other people.
Thank you so much.